3d6 down the line.
Okay, that is episode 89 in the books. Another good episode, nice. I think. Very satisfying combats, right?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah. It's so nice to be able to fight something and not feel like you're going to immediately like be obliterated right away.
Absolutely. And Matt was talking about like how good that cleave is. I really do like that as a good house rule for fighters, just to give them a little bit of oomph. But it's kind of amazing when you know, as you get more powerful, what quality, because it's a mook clear, right? That's what they're supposed to be for. But you get to, at this point, at least with this party makeup that you have, ghouls are actually mooks. Like, who'd have thought? You know what I mean? So that's
seriously,
cool.
As long as they don't paralyze you, because that can always go bad, right? Like,
Big time.
Nobody's saves except for Ted's are so phenomenal that they can shrug off like 3 attacks from a ghoul.
But you said Wolford had something.
Can.
What
Wolford has the ring of free action, which we confirmed earlier. Makes you immune to paralyzation and other things that kind of slow your movement. Right.
That is a sick, powerful item. I forgot that you had that, so don't forget to bring that up because I will forget. I'm not like when we were considering going back into this area even without Lothar, because we thought who knows how long it would take to get new eyes or a new eyeball installed. And you're like, these guys were easy. You kind of rolled through before as these guys are starting to wake up. Well, now they're fairly hefty. We can still take some of them, but they're significant, and it's really, really good that we were able to bring Lothar along on this, because man, that turning is amazing. Well, both of you guys turning rolls were crazy good.
Yeah, it was lucky dice rolls. I think I turned twice. Once I rolled a 12, once I rolled an 11. And so is the first roll the 2d6 roll? Because we're doing it slightly different, I think, than the core rule book, aren't we?
No, it's straight up.
No, we're not. So the first roll is like the number of hit dice you're affecting, correct?
No,
it's to see if the turning works. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so first is like your turn effectiveness. The higher you go, the higher you hit on that turning table, correct?
Right. The more powerful undead you can affect, and then you roll 2d6, and that's the number of those undead or the number of hit dice worth of undead that you affect. Yeah.
How many hit dice are ghouls?
They're 2. Yeah. But so are zombies, which is kind of surprising. Sorry.
That is surprising. I was expecting ghouls to be like 3, maybe even 4 hit dice. But then again, I don't study the monsters in OSE as much as I have in other editions.
Yeah.
You should look up ghasts this week, then, Mike. And
Please don't. Please don't.
If you're metagaming already, let's focus, please.
Well, man. At least I remember that they have a stench. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was good. That was like when I read the gas description for preparation, that threw me right back to like my first edition days, like because I had completely forgot about that. Was in addition to inflated numbers, that was like their big thing that kind of puts them over by ghouls. But ghouls and zombies have the same number of hit points, but the big difference, of course, is the paralysis effect that ghouls have. But even more so is the fact that ghouls attack 3 times. That's what's really, really freaking nasty when you think about it.
Do they only paralyze with claw attacks or only paralyze with bite attacks?
Everything. All three of them. Yeah, it's so nasty.
Their filthiness.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
The undead bacteria under their fingernails and in their gums. It's not good.
But what's really cool is that because you rolled that really high roll for Baronwald, Ted, twice, that you were able to affect the ghouls just as easily as you affected the zombies. When it comes to clerics, it's like there is no difference between the two. That's how badass clerics are. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Yeah. So
that was fun. Baronwald's very pleased with himself, and he's going to go around preaching a lot more than he used to now, and you're going to hate him soon.
Totally insufferable.
Yeah,
probably.
I love it that he can't even cast a spell yet, and he's like, "I am already the chosen of Mitra."
God loves
I gotta say, man, I thought your eyeball thing was fucking awesome.
That was brilliant, John. Brilliant.
That was cool.
You could thank Herbal Khan, man. He's cool.
Well, this is a good example, I guess, John, of when we give you in advance, like, we're going to do these things this week. You've got time to think shit up like that, right? Like,
did I think it up, or was that in the book?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's in the book, man. I'm going to check my copy as soon as we're done here.
It was on sale last week.
It was on sale.
Did I say that out loud? I didn't say that shit out loud.
But no, you're right.
Inside voice, Ted. Outside voice.
There was still very much in the open about whether or not she would take that up. You know, you had a couple of options. You could have gone back to Gosterwick and done it and done the conversion, and then there was the option. You still don't know if it would have been successful or not, but asking the Goblin Witch Doctors if it was possible. And Rizit, you had Rizit too as an option. You know,
come on, Demon Eyes, it'd be cool.
Yeah, if I'm not gonna pick up another god that's in the pantheon that's not overtly evil, I'm not gonna sell my soul to it.
I am kind of sad that you gave up Pole's Treatise. I gotta say,
I don't know, man. I think David's gonna fly to Colorado and kill me in my sleep. Like he's probably gonna be real mad when he watches this episode. But I mean, for the life of me, like I sat here thinking about it, like. And I'm like, what use is that book? I mean, who's going to open it? Who's going to read it? Like, who's taking that risk? I don't know.
We got Neferet with it.
What's that?
We got Neferet with it.
Well, I know that. I'm not saying it's not a cool item, believe me. And Lord knows that it's a great thing to leave open on your desk in your stash. Have some idiot come through and flip it around and then immediately go blind. It's amazing. And that's why I'm worried that David will fly out here and kill me. But I wanted my goddamn cleric back, man. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I would have probably traded a lot more than that, to be honest with you, to get my cleric back.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you did like throw that in right away. Like we didn't know he was probably going to say no to the location of the two libraries. But we did go ahead and offer that without waiting to hear that no first. Yeah. But even so, that's a bargain. I mean, we're getting the worth of that bargain immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Immediately. How many of us could have or might have died in just the encounter so far, right? If his turns weren't going off. And so like if you do the economy of like, okay, how many successful like undead explosions is worth that book, which is only going to be effective in particular cases, maybe down the line if we need to spy on one of these particular 7 places in this enormous dungeon, right? That we've never seen before. Maybe whatever.
But also, our party, I feel like it took a big hit when Avaricios died, like just power level, being able to handle certain types of encounters. And my cleric is the only one even semi close to that. I mean, I know Elizabeth is awesome, but I honestly, Matt, she's going to out-level Mort at some point, and then she's going to go.
She's got a long way to go now, and so Mort's it's that half XP is right.
About 38,000 away or something.
No problem.
That's fine. Three sessions, it will be good. But also the other thing is like next level for cleric, I get that 3rd level spell and the 4th level spell. So right there, it's like, oh.
It's good. It feels good, Mike. I tell you, man, it feels good.
That anomaly in BX. But yeah, there's no way that really, really powerful magics like that would require anything less than price than something like that. So it was a worthy gift to give him for that. He wouldn't have accepted much less than that as far as physical things. My whole thing is like you're viewing Pole's Treatise as something as almost like a trap, which it definitely is and could be used for very effectively, or as like a ward or something like that. But there
were 6 pages of viewing we could have done.
There's which is very dangerous, and obviously the risk is there. But so it's sort of like when you were looking at the book and you saw all these, had views into different places.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, and then Lothar lost his eyes.
That's 7.
Right. So it's sort of like, I can kind of tell you now because Kerbog's got the book, but it's sort of like if you had looked at the 7th page.
You would have seen where Lothar was when he lost his eyes.
No, you would see where Lothar's eyes are now.
I just assumed that that would be the room that they were in. So it's just randomly putting them around the dungeon, and then Neferet's eyes too, right? So that's like 7 and that's 8.
Yes.
I mean, that's
not like we could have put the eyes back, I suspect. So
I never know.
Hey,
Magic is weird.
What if we go wandering through the dungeon and we just see two eyeballs like stuck to the wall, just kind of looking around?
that'd be hilarious.
But you can't. You. Yeah, I mean, you're like you said, the dungeon is vast, so who knows? But that's a thing that can happen. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I do think, like, I know David. Yeah, he's going to be upset because he likes and he's good at thinking up outside the box sort of uses for stuff like that.
Right.
But I also think, particularly with old school, it's got to be easy come, easy go.
Yes.
Like, we got the thing. Okay, we traded it. We've got your eye. You got this cool, Odin eye thing now. Techno sorcery. That's great.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. Don't give it another thought.
Well, here's the thing. I'm using David as like the paper tiger, but David is just really representing my own misgivings for giving up the item, right? He's not really going to fly to Colorado and kill me. We might have drinks, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's just a reflection of my own misgivings for giving up something that is kind of like an unknown and powerful quantity. But you're right, Ted. What use is it if we're not actively using it? And now we're actively using the cleric, which is actively helping us get through this encounter. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, it's everything, right? Everything is like exactly worth what you can get for it.
And there's always like as we've found in this campaign, it's very rarely let you just get something for free. There's always like a cost, right? Yeah. So even if you're getting the eye, it's like you have to give away a cool thing, right? Like it's, it's just never clean. It's never, so it's fine.
And
like
whose fault is that, John? Really? Whose fault is that?
Not mine. It's Rick's. I don't
know. One other cool thing that is a development, and thank you, John, for giving us this, but a way to get through those big giant doors.
The doors.
Yeah, we gotta figure that shit out. Like
that's another. We have so many lists of things like that are just ready to pluck, but that's a good one, man. That's a good one.
And, I also think the goblins might be super sad if we open that up and there's something awful right behind the door. They're going to be real mad.
Hey, easy come, easy go. Oh, all the goblins have been eaten by the dinosaurs. That's awesome.
Well, that's a quandary that I face frequently in the campaign is where I know that you guys have the answer to a puzzle, but only because of the span of time it's taken since you got the answer, that it'd be almost impossible for you guys to put two and two together. So, right. I mean, I know that some people out there might view as what I did in this session where I was like, oh, you recognize that this would probably fit as just being way too much of a gimme. But it's just like, when are you ever going to associate those posts and be just scrolling through your treasure tracker and being like, oh, it's like you would never, like ever,
No.
And then there's just,
we don't
and then
have the thing in front of us to like pick up in the stash one day and look at it and be like, oh, look at that diameter thing. It's like,
yeah.
Well, so to be fair, we did do the thing with the wax pressing, right? Like if anybody's giving you a hard time, like there's a concrete thing that we can take with us 1-to-1. We have both things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
We have an impression of the post, and we have the hole that it fits in.
I just think that your characters, not you as players, but your characters would have made the conclusion. Like your characters would have had that fresh in their mind because obviously their time elapsed between the discovery of the discs and finding the doors.
3 days.
Yeah, it was much more compressed than you as players. So I'm fine. And plus, it's like there's no way for you to make the conclusion despite you having the solution. And therefore, unless I tell you, so that just means that no fun will be had. Like that avenue is just closed. Like it'll never be discovered. And so it's like, let's just give it to you. I'm just working it out through my head, obviously, but
if you get that key made, Matt, we get the key made for the library. I think we should go in there and leave some messages for Kerbold, like, Kerbold sucks eggs or whatever, and just graffiti the library up with weird messages about Kerbold. And
you love the guy.
What? But I mean, he did us good here, right? Like if we are in a similar situation, like right now, the cost was steep, but it was at least so far a fairly honest transaction. Who knows if that's going to remain the case? And you hate the guy. Here you go.
Just to poke fun at him, just to needle him a little bit, just
like the real way to get him would be like, hide some like caltrops or Legos, put some Legos in there. So when he goes and he steps on him, he's going to oh, damn it. And then the little monkeys are going to eat him.
That would be so mean.
So cruel.
Or he put a message up. All books must be checked out with blood or something like that. That would work.
Oh, yeah. Guys, focusing on the game here for a minute. So can we just do a quick short list of like, what do we have hanging that are our highest priority things, right?
There's no short list for that, Mike. Come on.
But there really is, though, right? Like there is the current area that we're in, which we're going to clear out, right? It'll probably take us a session or two to finish clearing this out. Then the fungal caverns, then the spaceships, then the troll market. And what am I missing? What are the other high priority things that we want to try and do?
It's the forum of set.
Wait, there was
remember there's an agent in the forum that you're supposed to be able to contact.
The king's scepter, right?
Yeah, Gislu.
Yeah,
finding that out.
That whole thing.
I think that's cool. But aren't the Setites trying to kill us? Like I'm like.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they are, and was your kind of, if you can make contact with that guy, he supposedly has like a safe place right near the forum that you can sort of like establish yourself there without fear of getting hurt.
I would also like to remind you that Garolad is still alive.
Oh, come on. Leave that poor fucker
still
alone.
Has your shit, man.
He still has the cloak.
Yeah. So where is Dano? Right?
Right.
Where is the LRCP? Where is the scepter? You've got the spaceships, obviously. You were talking about making the Lost Chambers of Arden a safe haven. Right. So getting rid of Eustace. You were talking about exploring the Temple of Set to the west, right?
And the regalia. We have lines also on the location of other.
You have leads to all those.
Two or three of the other regalia.
So you know what I think would be fun though, guys? I think I would like to do teleportation tile lottery.
That.
Oh yeah.
Sooner rather than later, because I mean it's just the comedic.
It's so fun.
The comedic potential is really high.
Yeah.
And we will know those addresses. Like that's the most important thing of it. You put in a random set of tiles, but then you know where that combination goes.
Correct.
We don't know how many of them there are though, Matt. And I think someone who's better at math could do the equation of like if you have 6 tiles and each one is a different color, how many combinations can you have? Right. Like I'm sure there is like I think I even remember how to do that, but I can't do it right now. But we've been finding maybe 2 teleportation spots per level that we've explored fairly full, right? So we know that there's, going off of that, there's probably 2 or 3 teleportation circles each level is kind of what I'm thinking.
You guys will keep in mind too that the every teleportation circle that you found so far has been in Arcantian areas, and the circles themselves are Arcantian in nature. So you can easily draw the conclusion that those circles can only be found in Arcantian settled levels of the dungeon.
Right.
That actually makes me feel a lot better. You're right, John. Thanks for pointing that out, because we're not going to get dropped into the middle of the hoppers, like, brood mother's like closet or something like that. Right. Unless they took over comedy. Yeah, unless they took over an area that was Arcantian, but it feels like they probably wouldn't even bother with that. I don't know.
Don't forget about the brewing disruption within the Setites as well, where you have that thing where the guild master of the slavers had, there's like a whole weird thing going on there with.
He died, right?
Yeah, and like it sure seemed like the captive that Cisco and Garolad had above ground looked like that guy. Remember? So. And you got lots of info on like the hierarchy within the guild, within the priesthood, right? Stefania, and then underneath them and all that kind of stuff. The power plays going on there.
Well,
David wants to go over the chasm. Sorry.
Yeah. Like the troll lifts, right? Just exploring those as well.
Upior literally wants to walk off the edge of the chasm and just explore the chasm with his boots of levitation.
What would be fun to do is like swap out his boots for non-levitating boots,
or just give him one.
Let him spiral down. But here,
let me see this. Can I just ask this question really quick? Since we're not on a real clock right now, would you guys rather do the exploration that involves the factions, or just go delve?
Delve.
Oh, delving.
Like
delving is so fun. Spaceship delving, regalia delving. Like those regalias are really cool. I mean, they're problematic, but well, like, and this actually, Mike, this is what I was going to ask, because this is a thing that I've been thinking about. Are any of these like game enders? Right? Like, okay, let's say we go to the spaceship and we all get, X-wings and we can like fly around. Is that like, are you done? I mean, are any of these like so valuable and so cool and so unique that you find these things and it's like, okay, you live in space now.
I'm not saying it's a thing, but if you find a spaceship and are able to activate it and fly it out of there, if that's a thing, that is a campaign ender, and I would say that's like an amazing campaign end. So if you want to shoot for that, go for it. Absolutely, yeah. I heartily encourage you to do that.
And then John, are you ready to play Spelljammer after that, or
it's more like Traveler
characters? We have a spaceship.
Yeah.
I think
Arden 2, AV in space.
That's right.
In space.
In space, no one can hear goblins screaming. Yeah. No, I would say delving personally, Mike. Over factions, and I'd love to go back to get that Hall of Heroes, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And the spaceship,
the tests,
the prison, and the tests, and then the chasm or pit or whatever that had laser rifles at the bottom. I'm all in on that.
Just to frame expectations, though, like delving will naturally lead to more faction interaction. It's just going to happen, right? Like, I mean, if you're not into factions like that, you're kind of in the wrong dungeon. I hate to break it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the next dungeon over, John?
I don't think it's that we're not into them, John, but like I think like the breakup, right? Like when we split up the party 3 ways, there was some really good delving that went on in there and some faction stuff that came out of it. Mm-hmm. But like when we went down to Turtle Town, that for me was like that was some insane delving right there. That was like high level paranoia.
Turtle Town.
Yeah.
That was the whole asylum, right?
Baronwald, by the way, is all in. He's going to turn Eustace. I tell you what.
Yeah, I guess I should revise, because I mean there are large chunks of the dungeon that are sort of isolated off from other places that you can sort of are pure dungeon crawl almost, devoid of the politicking. So yeah, fair enough. But if you're going to go teleportation circle hopping blindly, you're taking that risk that may drop you right into like the power center of some major faction. Who knows?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, even so, right? Like that would be amazingly cool. And you spend one turn immediately turning around and putting the tiles back in and going back home. Sorry. It's like when you walk in on somebody in a public bathroom. Oh.
Yeah, wrong. Sorry.
Sorry. We're from France.
We're from France. So we need mass invisibility of some kind, right? Like the teleport circle would shimmer and they'd be like, what's going on? And inside we're all going, but no one can see it.
Yeah, exactly.